wondering how I got into this mix.
On Thursday, July 3rd, former NSA employees and whistleblowers before Edward Snowden, William Binney and Thomas Drake, they both spoke in Germany in front of a parliamentary committee discussing what they know about the United States NSA spying program focused on Germany. Thomas Drake was quoted as saying that the United States spying is totalitarian. Now, it's not that big of a surprise to hear a comment like that. If you know who Thomas Drake is and you've seen his work, then you know this. You know, he's been talking about this stuff, and he was targeted by the government even before you guys knew the name Edward Snowden. If you don't know who Thomas Drake is and William Binney, go do a search and find out more about them. When William Binney was asked what he thought about the USA Freedom Act, he basically said it's a big waste of time and it has huge holes in it. It's not going to lead to any major changes in the NSA spying program. According to the German press agency, Thomas Drake told the parliamentary committee, NSA's monitoring regime has grown into a system that is strangling the world. Also on Thursday, it was reported that those who search or use the anonymous browser Tor and the program Tails are put onto a list of, quote, extremists by the NSA. What's interesting about this revelation is that security expert Bruce Schneier said that he believes these revelations about Tor and about the Tails program did not come from Edward Snowden. He said that he believes that there is in fact a second NSA whistleblower. And then later on Twitter, Glenn Greenwald, the former Guardian journalist who's been working with Edward Snowden to reveal all these leaks, he said at this point it's pretty obvious that there is a second NSA whistleblower. Edward Snowden has been in the headlines since last June when he first started working with the Guardian, the Washington Post, and various papers around the world to reveal information about not only the NSA's programs but spying agencies' programs around the world. Glenn Greenwald was supposedly going to release the names of Americans who are being specifically targeted by the NSA spying program. But then all of a sudden Glenn Greenwald went back on Twitter and said that it wasn't going to happen because of some type of pressure coming from the government. So what we have here is Glenn Greenwald working with Edward Snowden to release information about the NSA spying programs, and then promising to release a list of names being targeted by the NSA, then backing away from those claims and saying for whatever reason he couldn't do that. And then we have the website cryptome.org stepping in and saying, actually, we're going to release all those names and all the rest of the documents in July to avert some type of war. Cryptome.org is a very good website for all type of documents, so I wouldn't expect them to just play around with this type of news. So on one hand, Glenn Greenwald promising to release documents from Ed Snowden. On the other hand, former whistleblowers who have revealed a lot of the information that Snowden has talked about in the past years went to Germany to talk about the totalitarian NSA spying. And then we have a security expert saying, oh, well, by the way, if you use Tor, these programs that are designed to keep you anonymous on the internet, you're already on some kind of extremist list. And we believe this is probably coming from a second whistleblower. So lots of news going on in the NSA spying world. And I know there's plenty of people out there who accuse Glenn Greenwald and Edward Snowden of being some type of agents or controlled opposition or limited hangouts, and saying Drake and Binney have already released this information, and if you've been paying attention then you wouldn't be surprised by this. And I agree with all that. But at the same time, what I know as a journalist reporting on this is that I didn't know the specific names of the programs that they were using to spy on us. I didn't know to what extent. So I think there is new information, and at the same time, people who are speculating, which seem to be Sibel Edmonds, Webster Tarpley, I think even James Corbett, who I respect, they're all speculation. I don't see any valuable, reasonable, tangible evidence, and yes, I am somewhat of a conspiracy theorist, so I'm willing to go on faith alone sometimes, but I really think that we might be reaching what is the ultimate goal if Edward Snowden or Glenn Greenwald are controlled opposition or limited hangouts. Let me know in the comments below. In April 1993, Robert England and Armando Lazo were shot dead in the border town of El Paso, Texas. At that time, Daniel Villegas was a 16-year-old teenager also living in El Paso. Daniel reportedly claimed to have killed the men and was arrested shortly after. While in police custody, Daniel